Hello everyone, I hope you're all keeping well and are looking forward to starting your Year 2 studies shortly. This is just a quick introduction to the module EDN203 Additional Learning Needs o Anghenion Dysgu Uwchwanegol. So as a quick introduction to the module considers how additional learning needs and special educational needs are defined within legislation, and to consider some examples of different statutory regulations and guidance. We will also unpick different types of ALN or SEN policy and think about how these influence practice. And we'll also look at how things have changed in Wales compared to the rest of the UK, for example. As well as those kind of aspects of ALN, we will also have the opportunity to consider a range of different ALN or SEN that we might meet within the classroom, and you will have the opportunity as a group to shape our discussions here. And we'll also think about some examples of contentious ALN or SEN related issues as we go through the module too. So in terms of the module aims then, there are 4 aims that we will look to achieve as we go through. So in particular, we will look to understand the definitions around ALN and SEN. We will talk about a range of different ALN SEN legislation, for example, the SEND Code of Practice in England or the ALN Code for Wales, and think about how this legislation informs policy and how it then informs practice and how it then informs what students experience within the classroom. As we saw in the previous slide, we will talk a little bit about the prevalence, the etiology, in other words, the cause and management of a range of additional learning needs. And in particular, we will focus on needs including dyslexia and ASD, for example. But again, as I said previously, as a group, you will have the opportunity to inform and shape the discussion as to what we consider. And we will also think along a range of contentious issues. For example, should we label students? Where should students with ALN be taught, and how should they be taught, for example? So those aims then fit into our learning outcomes. So as you go through the module and complete the assignment, which I'll get onto shortly, you will look to meet the following learning outcomes. So you will demonstrate knowledge and understanding of the definitions of ALN and SEN. You will evaluate the impact of legislation relating to ALN and SEN. You will think about ALN and SEN policies currently and how that's developed to where we are today. You will demonstrate appropriate knowledge and understanding of a number of specific additional learning needs and the implications for individuals with these needs, and also the implications for practitioners working with these learners. And finally, you will be able to identify and critically reflect upon a range of contentious issues relating to ALN SEN. So in terms of our module lectures, where and when will these take place? So our lectures are timetabled to take place every Thursday between 10 AM and 12 noon in Union House 301, and our first lecture will take place on Thursday the 3rd of October, and our final lecture will be on the 12th of December. All the sessions will be recorded as we go through, and the recordings will be uploaded to Canvas each week, and I will aim to make sure that all Canvas materials relevant to the weekly lectures will be available by no later than Monday morning of each week. In addition then to the lectures weekly, we also have seminars which take place fortnightly, and these will take place on a Friday in room Keir Hardy 131. So for seminars, there are 3 potential groups that you will be assigned to, and the seminars will take place either at 10 AM, 11 AM or 2 PM depending upon your group. And as noted, whilst the lectures take place weekly, the seminars will be fortnightly, and they will take place on the dates noted below on the slide. So we will talk about this a lot more when we meet for our first session, but just a quick introduction to the module assignment. So the module assignment will consist of 2 pieces of coursework, both of which are worth 50% of the overall mark for the module. So the first piece of coursework is a written 2,000-word reflection, and the second piece of coursework is a written 2,000-word essay. And I will go over these in a little bit more detail on the next couple of slides. So the first piece of coursework then, part 1, this is a 2,000-word reflection based upon the statement below. So education should include everyone, with non-disabled and disabled people, including those with additional learning needs, learning together in mainstream schools, colleges and universities. So you will be asked to reflect upon that statement, in other words, looking here at unpicking what we mean by inclusion and where and how all learners should be taught. And you will reflect upon this statement. You'll be able to make links to your own previous experiences and also make links to literature that we discuss as we go through the programme. The second piece of coursework then, part 2, again is a 2,000-word piece of work, and this time it's an academic essay, and you will choose from one of the 4 options below. So option 1 will be to use theory and research evidence to argue the advantages and disadvantages of labelling students with an ALN. So is there an advantage, for example, of labelling a student as being dyslexic? Secondly, we have relatively new legislation in Wales, the ALN Act and the ALN Code for Wales, which have been introduced in 2018 and 2021 respectively. So you can, if you choose this assignment, start to unpick what impact those pieces of legislation have had on learners in Wales. Have they made a difference? Has that difference been positive? The third option is to look at a particular ALN in relation to autism, and you will be asked to think about how does the environment affect children living with autism, and in your answer you will be expected to discuss what autism is and how the school and policy environment can shape a child's experiences. And the fourth option is to critically discuss inclusion in the current education system. In your answer, you will include discussions of policy, theory and research to evaluate what it is we mean by inclusion and what are the advantages and disadvantages of inclusion in practice. So that is a very brief whistle-stop introduction to the module. We will discuss all of this in far more detail when we meet for the first time on Thursday, the 3rd of October. I'll just finish off this session with this quote from Albert Einstein. Everyone is a genius, but if you judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it is stupid. And one of the key things I think we'll find as we go through the module linked to that is that there is no one-size-fits-all approach. There is no one right answer that meets the needs of all learners. So I will stop talking shortly, other than to say I look forward to working with you as we go through the module this semester. Any questions or concerns you have about the module before it starts, please just get in touch. Otherwise, look forward to meeting you soon.